Awesome, Olivia. Thank you. Thank you. This is literally your first time doing this? No way.
Yes, yes. I've never done a live before, so thank you for inviting me to try to do one.
Blessings. Blessings. I had to, when you reached out for the Heal House, I was like, oh snap, this is cool. And, I did the survey. I looked at, everything that you have. And then I also just looked at your body of work with your life, with your journey. And it's very inspiring. The things that you've already done, the things that you've learned, the places you've been. And I just wanted to learn a little bit more about you. So I was like, yo, let's flow together, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a perfect way to learn more about each other.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. So, if anybody, I guess, were just to ask you, how would you describe yourself if anybody didn't know, who Olivia is?
So, so that is a tricky question because I don't know if you know of human design. Maybe you do a little bit. That's kind of how I see the world. I resonate with human design a lot. And so I'm a projector. And so that I can see people really deeply and kind of understand them really well. But when I look at myself, it's a little bit blurry. So it's hard for me to define who I am, or because I it's hard for me to have a sense of self, but I could really see people really deeply. And so if I were to define myself, I would just say that I'm an observer, and I'm a critical thinker. I love to like question and understand people and things. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much. That's pretty
Wow,
much.
that is very interesting, very unique. You said projector?
Yes.
Projector. Okay, so Olivia, so you said it's tricky or challenging for you to understand yourself. You said your sense of self sometimes isn't there, but when you're observing others, when you're interacting with others, it's like a crystal clear. You can understand others.
Yes. Yes. I
Okay,
understand other. Yes.
very interesting. Has it always been that way?
Um, I think it's always been that way, but have I been aligned and accepting of it my whole life? Maybe not so much. And once I learned more about human design, I became very accepting of this kind of outer vision, um, and less of like the inner vision. But with human design, it's all about having access to certain energies
Mhm.
and being able to tap into them, because you always have access to all these energies. It's just if they're defined for you or not, if you could tap into it or if you can't tap into it. And it's all based on alignment and your energy type and everything. And the reason I speak about this is because I resonate with it like fully, like just the understanding of it. It helps me understand myself so much more. It makes my blurred sense of self seem so much clearer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, having that sort of alignment and having that access, as it were, how do you feel like it served you when it comes to your interaction with the world around you? Like, how has it ultimately served you on that level?
Having self acceptance allows you to interact with the world at a whole different level than ever before, because your inner world is a reflection of your outer world. And for me, a lot of my life I was kind of at like combat with myself, because I was like, why don't I have the energy to do this, or why is my rhythm different than a lot of other people? And then when I heard about human design and that generators make up 80% of the population, and they have sacral energy, and they could tap into this like constant access of energy, and that I my energy type is a projector, and it's not a constant source of energy. It's a very, very like, it's a projected energy into one person, and I could give my whole self to someone, but I can't do that for long, and I can't do that 24/7. So it was about learning that my energy rhythm and type is different than 80% of the population, and that's okay. And to master that has given me a, such a huge understanding of the world and such a understanding of myself. And I learned that everyone is so different, and there's not one path that you could possibly follow that someone has went on and do it the exact same way, because we are so different biologically, energetically, mentally, spiritually. There's no one way to do something, and to accept that is so freeing.
Wow. Wow. So freeing. I'm just like, this is awesome, you know, that level of acceptance. And then what it sounds like a just a great realization, you know, that you can be able to intuit these things and this wisdom, you know, because this really seems like, I mean, this is really deep stuff. And you have your whole life ahead of you, you know? So to be able to learn this now, I mean, it seems like you're so ahead of the curve, you know, like me, myself. I found out that I am a generator, so I'm one of those 80% of generators out there, and I'm a 2-4. So I have those, you know, that hermit, and then oh, what? Go ahead.
Well, I think I met my past teacher was a 2-4 generator as well, actually, and she
Okay.
said like loves people. Is that a quality of 2-4? I'm not sure. I haven't studied that much deep into it.
You said she loves people?
Yes, loves people.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I don't know if that's an inherent quality. I know that's one of my qualities. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It makes sense.
And that
It makes sense.
she said something maybe about the 4, maybe this resonates with you,
Mm,
like your like networking connections are really strong, and a lot of opportunities come through your network,
mm,
and people will just come to you, basically, like opportunities will just kind of present themselves to you, like almost, she says like sometimes she's walking on the street, and she'll meet like her mentor, her soon to be mentor on the street, and I think that's a quality of a 4. And if you know human design, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was something I remember. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I do agree. You know, the 4 I think is the opportunist, and then the 2 is the hermit, you know. So there's those both worlds, you know, the coming out of your shell but going into your shell. But just like your mentor was saying, you know, what she was saying I feel is very correct. And I see it in my life, a direct reflection where I have this you know, instant connection with strangers, you know? And I've always been like that since the beginning. I just was asking people questions and I was very inquisitive. So that's awesome that you can learn that through something like human design, and it can allow you to see where everyone shines, you know? Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
It's like your own
So
energetic,
it's like your what?
your own energetic map. So it kind of like flushes out all the details for you in that way.
Right, right. Your own energetic map. I like that, you know. Earlier, Olivia, you were talking about combat with the self, you know, combating the self and then coming to a level of acceptance with self. When you were doing your, because you just did like, what was it, 200 hours of your teacher training?
Yes.
Wow, during
Yes.
that, I mean, and that's, I mean, a big accomplishment. You know, congratulations, by the way, for just going through that and for growing through that. And as you were going through that experience, did you encounter some of those scenarios where you had the combat with yourself, or you had to come to a level of acceptance within that?
Yes, and actually, like through the practice of yoga, if you've ever heard of Yin yoga, like that is a practice of yoga that helps release like kind of pent up energy in certain parts of our body that stores a lot of energy. And just doing some asanas actually released a lot of emotions, and some people cry, some people laugh, because you're opening up energy to flow out that like tense energy, and yeah, so there were a lot of times throughout the teacher training where it was just my energy was all over the place, because I was first of all, like projector goes like this anyways, okay, like emotional authority, I have emotional authority, it goes like this anyways, so I'm already going up and down. And then going to a teacher training, something I've never really experienced in my life before, kind of, there was a lot of times where I had to like sit with myself and accept certain aspects of myself, and not only of myself but of my environment and situation that I'm in. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, as long as it's how you perceive it. So that was a huge part of the teacher training for me. But even signing up for the teacher training was a huge combat of self as well. And that is because I kind of grew up in an environment where that type of education, learning about energy and learning about, you know, ancient practices in yoga, was not prioritized, and it's kind of seen almost maybe as silly to embark on something like that. But it was such a calling to me, and I was like, this information is gold to me, you know. And so I had to do it, and that was a huge facing myself as well. Like, am I actually going to make the investment? Am I going to go? Am I, you know, these questions, you know, it's not always, you know, as easy as like, yeah, I just went to a yoga teacher training. There's a lot that you have to personally decide, I guess.
Right, right. It's you know, it's an embarking on like a journey. I mean, to me, it sounds like a big decision, you know, for you to make, that you're going to do something that's, you know, going to actually be like a crossroads or direct, you know, the course of the rest of your life. Is definitely something that can be a trial, you know, and there's a lot of things that you go through and grow through. I haven't done it myself, but when you were going through it, and, you know, who inspired you to do it in the first place? Because you said it was a calling for you, but where did that calling come from? Did it come from one of your role models? Did it come from someone who inspired you, or did it come from somewhere deep down within?
Great question. It came from somewhere deep down within. And so maybe like as a little background, I have like a lot of like yin yang in my life, like duality, where my mom is more of the like Western medicine, university studying, and, you know, 9 to 5 job type education. And my father, whom you may know, is more of the kind of like focus on the inner world, learn about the inner world, um, you know, more spiritual. So I had these two sides. And so last year I embarked on my first journey coming to the University of Miami, which I am right now here during my first week of sophomore year, but last year was my freshman year. And I was like, I already had some, you know, like kind of resistance towards it. I was like, I don't know if this is right for me. But I went through the first year and I learned a lot. But in the middle of the first year, around January of last year, I had like this like inkling. And it was like, you need to travel. You need to invest in yourself this summer. If you want like to transform in some way, you need to like put like energy into it, put currency into it, put money into it, and see where it takes you, and just be open to it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, you know, I was 18 at the time. I was like, okay, I'm gonna book my first flight by myself. I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna go to Tenerife. Like, all of a sudden, Tenerife was calling me. I was like, I'm gonna go to Tenerife for 3 weeks. My mom and my dad were like, are you sure? like is that what you want to do for the summer? Go to like a yoga like retreat training like with only like 12 other people for 3 weeks? And I was like, yeah, I'm so positive, actually, like this, I need to do this. And I'm so happy I listened to that inkling, because the people that I've met there and the transformation that took place there was invaluable compared to the price I had to pay. So yeah, definitely an inner calling that I've known for a long time, but just had to acknowledge.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So courageous, you know, so courageous to just have your own undertaking, you know, like a journey of your own making. Such an adventure. It sounds adventurous, you know, to just kind of say it again.
It was so adventurous.
Yeah, you know, going out on a limb, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know where this is gonna take you, but you're just going out on faith. You're going out on that inner knowing that, you know, it's gonna be showing up in your reality. So I like how you just felt that you needed to move that energy to find those improvements, or those areas within your life that you felt needed to kind of be stirred and be shaken a little bit. And when you were mentioning that, you know, you had to sit with yourself, that there's been times in your life where you had to be in silence, or you had to be in solitude and really sit with yourself. What was one of the most challenging aspects of yourself that you had to really sit with?
My, I think like victimization. kind of, I think the one thing that I really had to sit with was like, I have, you know, obviously two parents with two different teaching styles and learning methods, right? And one is so pro this way and one is so pro the other way. And so like the situation could be a little confusing. So what is my right path? What should I pursue when there's just two different ideologies, you know? What's right for me? And I think a lot of times I played victim, like, this is not what I want to do. Why are you making me do this? Why are you, you know, why am I spending my time doing something that doesn't light me up, you know, and that doesn't do this? And then what I accepted at the yoga retreat, I think, is that everything is one. Everything is one. The whole journey, like, being in a situation that I may not resonate with, or maybe I'm not doing exactly what lights me up, and that saying that I'm not doing what lights me up pains me, because I want to spend my whole life doing what lights me up. I want to follow that light, like, you know, I want to attract that light. I want to do what inspires me fully, and I am doing it a little bit on the side now, but I am doing it. Just understanding that everything is one, this whole experience is one, made me so appreciative of the present moment, and it doesn't matter what my situation is, because everything is for me, everything is now, and being in the now is the most beautiful gift. So if I follow what lights me up, or if I'm on the divine path, I shouldn't create resistance with it, and I should just let it be. Just let it be. And if I trust, then I think what I want will come.
I know it will. I know it. Oh my gosh. To be able to trust, you know, that's beautiful. That's beautiful that you just have that faith and that knowing, and just that all is one. Everything is one. Come what may, it's all leading me to my highest good. I love that, you know? I love that. What a perspective. You know, I feel that's the perspective that we need in the collective, because when you were talking about Olivia, you know, Jason, and meeting Jason was amazing, because you know he's got bright energy, he's got big energy, he's got personality, he's got you know, and he's one of a kind. You know what I mean? There's no one else like him on the planet. And when I met, he taught me two things, and I want to ask you, like, one of the greatest things he's taught you. For one thing, he taught me that to get out of the head space, you go into the heart space. That's one thing. And then another thing he said was, gratitude is the great attitude. I never forgot those words. Like, nobody had ever put it so simple and plain before as Jason did. So, you know, shout out to Jason for sure, you know. And what do you feel like has been, you know, maybe even a few of the lessons that you've learned from him over the years?
I think that the two lessons that you learned from him is something that I've learned or am learning. And like, I mean, he says those two lines a lot, so I hear it a lot. It's kind of like those dad jokes that keep on getting thrown around. I love it. I hear it all the time. But I think that from my father, looking at his life story and being a witness, like as his child, of like the challenges life has thrown at him, and how resilient he was through it, and how positive he stayed, and how forgiving he was of everyone and everything. I learned from him, I think, radical forgiveness, like at its core, most like raw pure state, radical forgiveness, because radical forgiveness really implies forgiving yourself for everything, because once you do that, you forgive every situation. You're in an abundance mentality, and that's how my father stays so bright and positive, even through very, very, as people would probably consider, like maybe tough times. Like he's only been a source of inspiration for me, and he's helped me be the person I am today. He really has. He's been like a guide and mentor. And yeah, I would say radical forgiveness. I'm learning. I'm learning. It's helped me kind of get out of the victimization I was talking before of. Forgiving yourself, forgiving the situation, forgiving. You're just like giving it up almost. Like give. Just that's it. And yeah, so that's probably what I've learned from him.
Gosh, oh my gosh, radical, you know, radical, not just the regular, but the radical. right? Like above and beyond forgiveness, you know?
Yes.
That is so what do you feel like, learning from Ahaba, learning from Jason, learning from love, you know, about radical forgiveness? What was something in your life that was very challenging for you to forgive? And maybe thank goodness you had that lesson instilled within you from your father.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I think I believe that a huge lesson, a huge thing that I've learned, a huge thing that I had to forgive within myself was focusing too much on the physical body and not enough on the energetic body. And I neglected the energetic and I neglected the mental because I thought that if I could master the physical, then everything would be as I want. And that took a lot of forgiving because it took a lot of growing out of it and kind of like growing into understanding the energetic body, learning more about the energetic body, accepting the energetic body, that I'm more than just this like kind of physical being. And it was actually a lot of pain to realize that like, oh, I've been focusing on like kind of I've been focusing my energy on the not the wrong thing, but too much on not the holistic, not the whole thing, you know? I've been focusing on one part and that has led to multiple downfalls for me. And so focusing too much on the physical body and not enough on my whole being, my whole self was a huge lesson for me. You know, I am really really interested in human health. I've been like I eat raw vegan, you know, like a lot of the things that my dad has done and kind of lived his life by, I kind of adopted myself because I mean he's a positive loving guy and you know I want to know his methods and learn, and so I've kind of done what he had to do, but within that I became very very critical of the physical body and focused a lot on health, like how this one remedy could help this and this and this, but neglecting the energetic body is like not going to help at all because you're more than just the physical body. This is the physical experience. Like I'm a human being. Like this is my body. Cool, but I'm way more than that, you know. And that took a lot of forgiving, I think, to kind of get to that realization. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, you know. Thank you for sharing that forgiveness. For that is interesting. I would not have expected that answer. Like that's a very unique answer, especially like, and I know age is just a number, but in your age group, in your peer group, in your classmates, the people that you have around you, would you say that there are a lot of people around you that have that idea of the energetic, or that even know that the energetic is a factor in their lives?
I'm not sure. I honestly I don't have these types of conversations. I don't think with a lot of people in my age group. I mean, considering I'm in college and I'm surrounded by a lot of people in my age group, I haven't really been able to have a conversation like that with someone. Um, I have met some gems though. I mean, a boy from my high school reached out to me when I started this holistic account, and we were talking energy, talking Reiki, and his mom is like a Reiki master and everything. And I was like, this is so refreshing. And, we were talking about, he said this really cool fact, and maybe you would really resonate with this, but he was like, every day our body like creates 30 billion new cells. So it's so important that we kind of embrace those cells with like gratitude and love. So every day you're just like, you're new and you're fresh, and you have to like love yourself so intently and like welcome those new cells, And I was like, wow, this is a great conversation. I love speaking with you, and like you're only 18 too. So I do think that there is like a lot of like energetic body awareness for sure. Maybe not a lot in my age group, but I've met people. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm just glad to see that, it's rising, that the energy is rising, the information is spreading, the awareness is raising. I'm glad to see that people younger and younger are coming into this knowing, coming into this knowledge and growing into the things that, this was not the knowledge that we were taught in college. When I was in college, we didn't have this conscious curriculum. We're taught about your energy body. We're taught about, even your emotions, even the things that that you go through in life. So it was very on the physical, you know, not the metaphysical, but the harsh physical reality. So there was just a lot of focus on the material. And, you know, it's interesting that more and more today we're seeing this prevalent energy be projected, and it's so positive, you know, it's so positive. And even right now, as we're speaking, Olivia, we have some folks in here. Alexis is asking, who is your dad? She's asking, who is your father? I am inspired before I even know who he is. So did you want to share real quick who he is?
Yeah, my father, his name is Jason. He goes by Ahava, and I think you could follow him on Instagram at Ahava, AHAVA _love_light. I think that's his Instagram handle. I will DM you if I'm wrong. But you could follow him there. And my father, you know, is a key of transformation in my mind. He has gone through so many transformations in his life. He went from rock bottom to soaring high, like amazing. And yeah, he's taught me a lot of the things that I know today. Because what you mentioned, Jerome, was that, you know, back then in college they didn't teach you about the energetic body, and they didn't teach you about kind of, I guess, spirituality, and the metaphysical, and they still don't today. That's, you know, I just wanted to mention, because I'm in college right now, and that is another struggle. They don't today either. And so I think that is another thing that I'm learning to kind of forgive and like accept and let be, because sometimes it's really hard to sit in class and learn about such like dense physical topics and things, instead of kind of like seeing the outer vision and seeing from a broader perspective, and understanding that we don't have to manipulate so much of the outer world and put so much energy into that, if we only took time to tune within. If we only, you know, we should learn about meditation and sitting in silence, and everything I learned on the yoga retreat, I feel like we should take right to this college. Maybe I can one day, but yes. So I just wanted to mention that not much has changed on the college end, but I do believe that there is like an awakening. Like a lot of people are like awakening to information and accepting of information. So
I agree. I agree. And I love, Olivia, I love that you said maybe I can one day, because I feel like that's exactly what you are doing. You know, you're providing a platform, you're providing an opportunity. What I see, at least correct me if I'm wrong, with the Heal House, that you're allowing healers to come together and, you know, teach their services and provide this information to a wider audience.
yeah,
You know, is that correct?
that's correct. And you know, that has been what has been lighting me up recently. I personally see so much value, and like I'm amazed by every healer that I've ever met, because of like their service, their offering to me is invaluable. I can't put a price on it. Like you know, if someone did acupuncture to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, you know? Like qigong with you, like, oh my goodness, like everything is so healing. Breath work, like um things that I've been learning, different like healing modalities, they light me up. They're so like expansive and transformative, and can really shift your reality and your world. And I think that people heal in so many different ways. There's, like I said before, there's not one way to heal. And so I want to provide a platform where people can have access to a whole world of healing, to whoever they resonate with, to whatever works for them. So they don't have to stick to one way, and they could be open to the fact that maybe it's not Western medicine that will help them. Maybe it's learning how to do yoga, you know, or, you know, maybe it's breath work, and they release so much, you know, trauma and so much dense energy, things like that. Like bringing the education of the holistic world to the forefront is so inspiring to me, because it's helped me. It's transformed me. It has transformed me. And I can see how it can transform other people. And I could also see that there is a whole new generation, like we were speaking about, who's becoming more awake and who's tapping into these healing modalities to help themselves. And I want to provide them a platform where they could share their services easily, and they could be accessed easily through, you know, based on their region, based on, you know, their price range, based on who they are, if, you know, if the person who's seeking healing resonates with them. any modality. So yeah, that's the vision, and it lights me up, and I'm gonna go for it. So we'll see how it goes.
It's going. It's going.
Good.
It's going, it's flowing, and it's already growing, you know? Yes. We feel your passion, Olivia. You know, like we feel your excitement, we feel your energy, we feel your enthusiasm. And you know, it's contagious. It really is contagious. Like people catch the wave, people catch, especially when you have a message, when you have that purpose, and when you have that deep meaning behind something that you do, you inject all of that energy into it and it flourishes. You know, it blossoms and blooms like a flower. So, you know, that's power. That's power. Yeah. So definitely, you know, continue, keep, like they say, keep that same energy, you know, keep building and just, I mean, there's no limit. There's no limit to how far it can go, how high it can grow, you know, because when you were speaking about you love healers and the impact that healers have on people in the world and also yourself, what would you say has been, you know, one of the healers that you've met that had that kind of impact on you, like on your life, to say like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You were talking earlier about one of them, but could you think of another?
Okay, I can tell you two.
Okay.
And I would say that like my journey on this, I've always had this kind of idea in my mind, of healing and helping people heal. I even decided, you know, I was like, oh, should I kind of specialize in a healing modality? But then I realized like it's not for me. Like I can't specialize and help someone, but I could bring together a platform of people I see gold in and like, you know, connect them. And that's like the 3-5 profile, or the 5 profile line in Meet Speaking, like a sharer, a connector. Um, but more on that later. So the two people that have changed me tenfold have been Victoria at Level Mind. So you know, oh sorry, for some reason my phone is going off. Okay.
Victoria's here. I think I seen her commenting down below. Victoria's in here. Yeah.
Yes. So Victoria has been a huge point of transformation for me. She kind of started everything for me. She saw my interest. She saw, you know, I was eager to learn, and she taught me. She taught me like every question I had. She was so open to telling me the answer, you know, and like, you know, she took me on some amazing breathwork experiences, and she opened me to everything that I kind of knew. You know, I was like, I know this is real. Like, I know this is, you know, and you know, she's not much older than me. She's like maybe 2 or 3 years older than me. And she was such an expander for me, because I was like, you know, and have everything that I've craved and desired for so long. You know, you're perfect. Like, you're perfect. And so when I met her, I was like, this is a sign. This is a sign to keep going and keep learning and keep growing in this path, because she was such an inspiration for me. So Victoria, I would say, is like a huge mentor. Um, and we had some amazing fun times in Miami last spring together. And then my second mentor was the woman I was speaking about. Her name is Nani, and she was my yoga teacher in Tenerife. But she also does human design readings. She channeled my human design for me, and then we got into like deep conversations about it. She also does a lot of things with business entrepreneurship, so she's been helping me with the Heal House as well. And we just really connected energetically. So she's been another mentor to me and expander for me.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Awesome. 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 You know, I love that. It's wait, when I heard that name Nadi, it reminds me of the nadis. Aren't there nadis in the body?
So,
Yeah. Working with the nadis with nadis, like it reminded me of the nadis that we hear in the body, you know, like there's nadis in the body, like different energy centers, energy points in the body. I know that different philosophies.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, no, I'm saying yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's an awesome name for nadis, and she works with, you know, she works with that. So when you were speaking of Victoria, you know, once upon a time in Miami with Victoria, when y'all were going on journeys together, you said that there was you know, there were things about her that you said, she's perfect. Like, she has things and she knows things that I have craved for so long. What do you feel like were those things that you had that craving for, that you felt Victoria just embodied or that she emanated?
So the most valuable thing for me on this earth plane is information and experiences. No amount of money can be put on being told something that is life-changing or experiencing something that is life-changing. She had the knowledge that I speculated was true, you know, like certain things like healing modalities, breath work, you know, but she brought it to life. She was like, yes, this is real. This can heal you. You know, here are some amazing experiences. You know, I share these, I offer these experiences to you. And I was so willing to be there and experience it with her. So yeah. that's really it. Like, it was really information and experiences. Yeah.
Wow. So it was like she was gifting you a treasure. Like, here you go. Here's yours.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Because when it comes to breath work, you know, it's interesting, Olivia. You know, we're breathing right now. You know, you and I, unconsciously, our body is doing its work, the lungs is doing its work, the heart is doing its work, and the body has its own intelligence in that way. But what really surprised you or kind of opened your eyes when it came to breath work, that maybe even blew your mind, like, why did I not know about this? You know?
Hmm. Breath is life. That's kind of what, like, really like sunk down with it. Like, we are born breathing, we die breathing. It is one of the most constant things, like the sun rising in the morning and the moon coming out at night. It's as constant as that. Breathing in and out is like the tides of the ocean, like the phases of the moon. It's very natural and very consistent. And tapping into it, tapping into breath work is so empowering, and I want to tap into it more. You know, I know some breath exercises I've meditated for, you know, maybe up to 2 hours before, but I really like, every time I come out of a breathwork session, you know, I'm so calm. My parasympathetic nervous system is very much, you know, like, I'm kicked in, like, I'm relaxed, and that is the state I want to stay in. I'm grateful in that state. I feel alive in that state, and I just feel so just raw and natural in that state, and that is the state I want to live in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I can definitely relate to that state. You know, you feel great. It's one of the reasons why before each conversation, I hit a little meditation, you know. I do a little meditation and get some respiration before the conversation because I know that
I,
because I know it's going to bring forth even better information, you know, to be in that state, to be in that brain wave, to be in that frequency, and like you said, to be in the parasympathetic, you know. So yeah, you know, when you were talking about not focusing so much on the physical and focusing more on the energetic, what do you feel has been one of the energetic experiences that you've had in your life that allowed you to know that energy was real? For some people, it's they learn through psychedelics. Through other people, they learn through meditation or different sensations. How do you feel you encountered that wave of knowledge for yourself?
two experiences, notably. First time I did breathwork with Victoria, I remember she was like, and now we're like done, you know? And she was just like, yeah, we're done, right? And then I need to stay here. Like, I don't want to move. I want to stay breathing. I don't want to leave this. I just arrived and I don't want to leave where I've arrived to, you know? I was like, this is the most, that's when I knew. That was the first energetic experience I had that kind of confirmed that, like, I am an energetic body, you know? I am more than just this physical body, because through just breathing life in and out of me, I had an amazing experience. The second experience was I did a chakra meditation with my mentor in Tenerife, where we like, it was like a huge, like kind of like yoga nidra almost style, just kind of laying in shavasana and tapping into each of the energy centers. And I remember coming out of that shavasana feeling like liquid. Like I you know, you're like start moving, you know, your fingers and your toes, whatever. My body didn't feel physical anymore. I felt like water. Like I felt like hot liquid, like almost like lava. And I was like, this is another sensation, kind of proving like I just thought about different energy centers in my body. And to have that sensation is very confirming that we are energy. We are energy. We run on energy, you know? So those were the two experiences.
Thank you for sharing, you know, thank you for sharing those moments, you know, powerful. Powerful. I love it. You said we run on energy. We are energy. You know, we reflect energy. We project energy. We connect energy. You know, we radiate. We emanate. We pulsate. You know, it's so beautiful to be able to understand that we are more than what we've thought. You
Yes, and
know.
I'm so grateful to be a human. Like I'm so grateful to be a human. I'm so grateful to be a little energy ball that like walks around all day and, you know, sometimes gets confused and sometimes gets hurt and sometimes, you know, feels enlightened, you know, all these different sensations. And just to be energy is such a gift. It's such a gift. And to tap into that gift, that wow, like sometimes I like look at my fingers and I'm like, who am I? Like, what am I? Like, because sometimes I don't, you know, looking at myself, I get confused because I don't feel how I look, you know, I feel different. I feel maybe a little older, like, I don't know, like have older thoughts maybe. And yeah, it's just like, it's just amazing to be here and now and in this experience. And whenever I get down about something happening in my physical reality, I'm just like, wait, like, what are the chances that I'm here, you know? So I hope that resonates, but
Yes, that fully resonates. You know, I love those 4 words. Did y'all hear that? 4 words. Those are like magic words. What are the chances? Right? What are the chances? That's like an affirmation that you can say to, I mean, to increase, you know, so much gratitude. Like we were talking about with Jason, you know, with Ahava, the great attitude. What are the chances? What
yeah.
are the that we would even be here in human form, right? What are the chances that we get to enjoy, like you said, the roller coaster of experiences? I love that you ride the waves, you know? Yeah, it's it's awesome. It's awesome that you can ride it so effortlessly and that you can enjoy the highs, the lows, you know, whatever it shows. It's like, okay, here it goes,
Whatever
right?
goes, goes.
Right? So, oh my gosh. So lastly, you were saying that, you know, to be able to tap into that gift and to feel your energy shift and to feel, you know, everything lift. How would you advise somebody tap into that gift for themselves? If somebody didn't really receive the instruction that you've received, or they don't really know the things that you know, how would you advise them to tap into that gift that you're speaking of?
That is a hard question to answer because everyone is so different. And everyone taps into their energy in different ways as well because we're all different types of energetic beings. We all have different energy types. Because I do really resonate with human design and believe in human design, one way I learned to tap within my energetic self and go about my day was based on what my human design taught me as a 3-5 emotional projector. What I would advise, and you know, if it resonates with you or not, is to follow what you resonate with. To follow truly what you resonate with. You know, like not what someone tells you you should. Even if it's like a health coach or a holistic, you know, like leader or something, if you resonate with them, go forward on that path. If you don't resonate with them, find what lights you up. Find what feels aligned to you. See, and it's really hard to advise on that though, because what if you're not in alignment? What if you don't feel in alignment? What if you don't know? I've been there too. Sometimes I'm so confused. I'm like, what? Who am I? what should I do and where should I start? You know, where should I start? So it's just very personal. What would you do? How would you advise that question?
You said the perfect thing, Olivia. You said you said it. It's what we call following the breadcrumbs of your own curiosity. You
Okay,
know,
I love that.
it's what lights you up. You know, because that itself is a frequency. You know, and it's its own feeling that can be more revealing. And if it lights you up, it's going to be longer lasting, I would say, because you know it's not like, it doesn't feel like a task. It doesn't feel like you have to, you know, do something or you're forcing something to happen. It's more of a flow, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say as well. I let people know, hey, you know, let it all flow. If you're attracted to this, if you're attracted to that, you know, just let that be what it is and let it grow organically, because for some reason it's calling to you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And I think I would also add to that, maybe don't be afraid to follow what lights you up as well.
Okay.
Because there's always someone, I think, that may have an alternate opinion on what you're doing, or, you know, everyone has their own perception of reality. So everyone has their own opinions, you know, and maybe I might think that, you know, my best friend is like, I would never do what she's doing, you know, because that's not my path. And that's not my life lesson. That's not why I'm here. That's not what's trying to be channeled through me, you know? So let people follow what lights them up. And by letting people follow what lights them up, you are letting yourself follow what lights you up. By letting yourself follow what lights you up, you are letting people follow what lights them up. And by people following what lights them up, it is just offering to this greater good. Because if everyone follows what lights them up and what is good for them, then it is the most amazing world, you know? So, yeah.
Definitely, definitely. I concur.